Hey there, online students. This is Dr. Buer coming to you for our weekly video update. I hope that you are enjoying this ninth week of classes. Pretty amazing that we're already this far. So we need to stay focused and stay on task so that we can really take advantage of the rest of the time we have in the semester. Keep in mind, in about a month, you're going to have some time off. You're going to have reading week, which is the week before Thanksgiving, and then you're going to have Thanksgiving week off. So if we can stay focused and work hard for the next 3 weeks or so, I think you'll really be able to benefit from having that break. I do want to let you know about something personally going on. My kids, as you know, are in marching band, and their marching band has been competing in different UIL competitions, and they have done well in the local competition. This weekend, they're going to compete in the area competition, and if they do well there, we then go to state, which means a trip down to San Antonio. So we're pretty excited about the possibilities. So needless to say, there may be a couple of days in early November if we are at the state competition that'll be out of pocket, but we hope the kids will do that. They've been working hard, and we're looking forward to seeing them do really well this year in those kind of competitions. So at any rate, you didn't log on to hear me wax eloquent about my kids' marching band. So without further ado, here's our material for the week. In NT103, we are about to finish our module on practicing on the verb. You can see that we have the syntax exam coming up. We've got the last few study guides to turn in. The goal here is, again, just to practice, to learn the material. You'll notice that for the syntax exam, let me show you the information page. What I'm going to allow you to do is to use Dr. Wallace's grammar. It's going to cover lots of things. It'll cover vocabulary, paradigms, but it'll cover grammar and syntax from Wallace's text, so you can use Wallace's text on that portion of the exam. But then it will also cover translation, parsing of verbs, and some syntactical analysis, similar to what you've done in the study guides. Now, once we're done with that, we're going to be moving into syntax of the noun, the theory. And this section is devoted towards basically reading. So that gives you a little bit of a breather, gives you an opportunity just to read and process like we did before. Please take note of the discussion section. I want you to really engage and to ask and answer questions about how the noun is working in the material that you're reading. But for the next couple of weeks, you'll have a slightly easier schedule in terms of you won't have to turn things in every day like you have been, but you can focus on reading up about the noun. And then in the syntax of the noun practice module, we'll move again into the study guides and work on practicing the syntax of the noun through the study guide worksheets. I've been teaching in the book of Zechariah in my adult Bible study class at the church where I attend. And there was a really great lesson the other day that I wanted to just review with you because I think it's fairly applicable to where we are in seminary. The book of Zechariah, the first half, is essentially all these visions that Zechariah sees during the course of one evening in which the Lord makes promises about how he's going to restore his people, how he's going to enable them to rebuild the temple during this time of return, and he's ultimately going to build his kingdom over the entire world. So it's both a present promise and a future one. But one of the key people that he makes a promise about is Joshua the high priest. There's a really great scene. Let me read a couple of passages to you and then talk to you about them. I'm looking at Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1. Next I saw Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, with Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. The Lord said to Satan, "May the Lord rebuke you, Satan. May the Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Isn't this man like a burning stick snatched from the fire?" Now Joshua was dressed in filthy clothes as he stood there before the angel. The angel spoke up to those standing all around, "Remove his filthy clothes." Then he said to Joshua, "I have freely forgiven your iniquity, and will dress you in fine clothing." Now obviously this vision is a little hard to unpack, but the key thing to note is that Joshua is the high priest. The high priest had to have proper clothing in which to serve. And as Satan is standing before him, he basically accuses him of not being fit for service because he says that he was dressed in filthy clothes. But what's interesting here is that the Lord's response is both personal and practical. What does the Lord promise to do for Joshua? He says, "I have freely forgiven your iniquity," meaning that I've taken care of your sin. You are able to stand before me because I have chosen to forgive your iniquity. So he addresses his spiritual problem, but then he also addresses the practical one. "And I will dress you in fine clothing." In other words, the Lord is not only taking care of Joshua's sin problem, he's also making him fit for service in the temple. Joshua, in the vision, couldn't get his own clothes. He couldn't be prepared for service. But the Lord took care of that for him. So I think the application for us in seminary is that we know that the Lord has forgiven us. We know that the Lord has made us whole through Christ, but he also prepares us for service. He makes us fit to do his work, the work that he has called us to do. So just like Joshua was both forgiven and enabled, we are both forgiven and enabled for service in the Lord's work. So I wanted to encourage you with that this week, and to encourage you that the Lord has called you, the Lord will enable you, and the Lord is going to use you for his service. And so our responsibility is to be an appropriate vessel and to participate in his work in a way that pleases him. So I encourage you this week, stay strong in prayer, and let me know if you have any questions. And otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you next week.